Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. We always start by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because Allah is the one who's most worthy of praise. Praise be to Allah. We seek His help, we seek His forgiveness, we seek refuge from Allah from the evil of our own souls and from our bad deeds. Whoever Allah guides will never be led astray, and whoever Allah leads astray, no one can guide. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, alone without any partner. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammad abduhu wa rasuluh. I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His servant and His messenger. Brothers and sisters, we talk about a man today who is only known by name. Non-Muslims and even some Muslims today don't know of the legacy of the great man, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A man, as Muslims, we love more than we love ourselves. A man whose face was more beautiful than the moon. A man who was known as Al-Sadiq Al-Amin, the honest and upright. And a man who, as it says in a Sahih, authentic hadith in Sahih Bukhari, used to stand in prayer until both his legs and his feet were swelled up. This was a man that was not only prophet, but was the best of worshippers. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was one of the greatest men, if not the greatest man, to walk this earth. And he was the final messenger of Allah, the seal of the prophets. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he stood up for women's rights. And he is the one that liberated them from the mistreatment and the abuse they went through in the 7th century. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a man who changed the world socially, morally, ethically, religiously, spiritually. In just 23 years, he changed the way people did business. He changed the way people treated their family members and their friends. He's a man who taught people how to treat their spouses. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says in an authentic hadith, and it's the 13th hadith of the 40 hadith Nawawi, narrated by both Bukhari and Muslim, none of you truly believe until you love for another what you love for yourself. What you love for your brother, what you love for yourself. And the scholars of hadith, when they look at this word brother, they said not just brother in Islam, brother of humanity. So as long as that neighbor that lives next to me, I don't love him like I love myself, I don't truly believe. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, being the final and most beloved Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he claimed that he was prophet, some people didn't believe him. And when you look at Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's claim, there's only one of 4 possibilities, only one can be true. Either 1, he was lying that he wasn't the prophet. 2, he was deluded, he wasn't in the right mental state. 3, he was both lying and deluded. Or 4, his claim was true, that he really was the prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He really was the last prophet, the seal. So we look at the first possibility. Was Prophet Muhammad ﷺ a liar? Did he lie about his prophethood? Prophet Muhammad ﷺ could not be a liar. If we go by what his psychological profile, it's impossible for him to be a liar. When Prophet Muhammad ﷺ claimed prophethood, he was boycotted. Him and his wife had a very wealthy and successful business. When he claimed prophethood, he was boycotted. He was starving. He was being abused and beat up, him and his friends and his wives. And when the people of Quraysh came to him and said, stop preaching your message, we'll give you the best of wealth, the best of women, the best of houses, the best of gold. Yet he refused. Yet he stood firm in his belief. He continued following the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he continued calling towards Tawheed, which all the prophets called to, which is the oneness of Allah, believing and submitting to the one Creator. Going by this, it's irrational and illogical for Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to be a liar, going by what these things say. So we go to the second claim. Was Prophet Muhammad ﷺ deluded? Maybe he didn't know that he was lying. He just wasn't in the right mental state. This also cannot be true, because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's teachings were just and groundbreaking. He taught us not to hurt the trees or the animals or the women or the elderly. He told us when you guys are in war, when you guys are being oppressed, do not transgress, only defend. Do not go offensive. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught us to give 2.5% of our yearly earnings to the needy. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, do not harm a non-Muslim under the Muslim rule. And this is in the hadith in Sahih Bukhari, where Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, whoever kills a person who was granted protection by the Muslims shall not smell the fragrance of paradise, even though the fragrance of paradise can be smelt from 40 years away. This is a man who cared for his people and the people that he was taking care of, and the non-Muslims, because some of the non-Muslims were living in the Muslim state at the time. So going by this, he was not deluded, and it is irrational for it to do, because his laws and his teachings are being used today, in today's laws, in today's societies. So we go to the third claim. Maybe he was lying and he was deluded. This also cannot be true, because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ narrates hadiths 1,400 years ago that are true today. Yes, authentic hadiths that are come true today. The first one comes from Riyadh al-Salihin, where Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, the day of judgment will come when the barefoot Arab Bedouins are competing in the building of tall buildings. So when they start building the tall buildings, they'll be competing against each other. So before we, okay, what does this have to do with anything? I want them to picture Dubai 40, 50 years ago. It was a desert, all sand. Look at it today. It's building the tallest buildings in the world. And it's even constructing the building, Burj Khalifa, that's going to be even taller. This is the hadith that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was talking about. At a time where people were like, what do you mean tall building? They didn't understand. It comes in another hadith, and this one is in Sahih Muslim, where Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, there will come a time where a woman will be clothed yet naked. And look at this today. We're in college, we're on the bus, we're on going home, whatever it is. Shaykh Muhammad ibn Uthmayyin says in his fatwa that this means three things. The first, that they will wear short clothes that will not cover their private parts, their awrah. Second, that they will wear light clothes that will reveal their skin under, meaning see-through clothes. Or three, that they will wear tight clothes that will cover their skin, but yet it will still show the shape of their body. It will still show their beauties and their endurance. And this is just two of the many, many, many hadiths. Another hadith, the Prophet Muhammad says, the day of judgment will not come until musical instruments will be worn on the head. And this is coming at a time 1400 years ago where the instruments were probably the size of this podium. So the companions of Prophet Muhammad were looking at him like they didn't understand. How are they going to put these big instruments on their head? And I don't know if it's in your pocket or if you see your friends. A pair of earphones. How many times do we see it walking around the campus? This is the musical instruments Prophet Muhammad is talking about. And Prophet Muhammad, like I said, there's many more hadiths that predict these times. And Prophet Muhammad is a man that used to teach the religion. He's a man that people will go to judge between two situations. He's a man that was best to his wife, and a man that was best to his kids, and best to his friends. And he was the first one in line in battles. Never will you find in any history book a man that led politically, religiously, and secularly. You'll never find this. And this was Prophet Muhammad. No matter how high people thought he was, no matter how high of a standard he had, as Prophet Muhammad, he would be the first one on his knees in prayer. He would be the last one in night, in sujud, in prostration to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he would be the first one in battle. Prophet Muhammad was a peaceful and caring man to all of humanity, not just Muslims. And Prophet Muhammad, one time he went to the city of Ta'if, a city that was in the Arabian world. And the kids and the adults were throwing stones at him. He was being abused by little kids, bruised and bloody. That's when the angel Jibreel came down to him, the angel Gabriel. And he says, give me one word and I'll flip this town. I will destroy it. He's asking him, just say one thing, that's it, this town is done. Prophet Muhammad, not only did he refuse, he prayed for their guidance. The kids and the adults that were humiliating him, throwing trash and stones at him, he prayed for their guidance rather than destroying their city. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is a perfect role model for me and you. Muslims and non-Muslims agree on this. As Michael Hart, a famous author and PhD graduate from Princeton University, he ranked Prophet Muhammad ﷺ number 1 in his list of 100 most influential persons in history. So not only Muslims recognize that he was a special person, also non-Muslims. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ also had unimaginable love to the people that followed his religion, his ummah, his people. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says in a hadith in Sahih Muslim that he used to cry the nights. He used to cry the night saying, Ummati, Ummati, my people, my people. Looking, because he can tell that these times are coming. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says in another hadith in Sahih Muslim as well, that every Prophet of Allah made his dua and got it answered for his people. As for me, as for Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, I'm saving my dua for the day of judgment for my own. This is the greatest man to walk this earth. This is the man that's going to help us on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And this is Prophet Muhammad ﷺ.